All right. Good day to anybody, or a good day to everyone. My bad. Here, I want to show off a fairly recent tank design that I made. I actually spent a good part of my day yesterday designing it, which is this, the 2A5. Here, let me actually fix the sun real fast. There we go. But yeah, it was the 2A5. It was the most up-to-date variant of the Panther. I think the last time that I had been streaming, I was working on the 2A3, if I'm not mistaken. Oh no, I was going over, my bad, I was going over my tank museum world. I don't know what else to call it, but this is a tank that was featured in it, but this one's very different to what that one is. So, quick save. So this 2A5, it is very, very advanced. Some things to note: still rocking the 130 main gun. Shoots APFSDS and HE, high explosive. And in case y'all didn't know, APFSDS is armor penetrating, fin stabilized. I got a GAL, I think it's the GAL 30 or the GAL 25. It's basically the same gun that's on the A10 Warthog, and it's got its own gunner sight. I have a Commander's panoramic sight that has thermal as well. I got a fixed turret mounted sight that has thermals. That one's the one the gunner uses. And then the main gun gets a side mounted gunner sight, no thermal. And he also gets a laser designator. I'll show you more about that later. But key takeaways, or key differences between this and say the 2A4. This, the way the turret stabilization and aiming works, when you move the turret, your third-person camera will follow the turret. It won't necessarily follow the gun, but it'll follow the turret. We get tracks, which I think really make this thing look beefy. I'll talk about design, since I think this is the first video where I've gone in length into the Panther 2 tank. But the design heavily inspired by the Abrams tank, in case you don't already know. Yeah. When this thing is in all tan, it really sells it. But yeah, this is essentially an Abrams tank that I've designed. The turret, and then like the front of the hull, because you got that steep, or not steep slope, you got that really long slope, and then you got the steep lower glacis. The rear doesn't look so much like an Abrams, although I really do like, I'm not trying to make like a one-to-one scale of an Abrams, I just heavily drew upon its design. But I think the back kind of looks like a old World War II M18, or like a Leopard, modern day Leopard 2. But I think the back looks pretty good compared to the back of, say, the 2A3. 2A3 looks very plain, basic. But, yeah, let's get you out of here. So, we'll just get right into how it operates. So, let me put a copy of it over here. So, once we hop into the top, you see we have a hatch right here, which can be opened and closed from the outside, which is neat. So you hop in here. Ooh, these screens are off. There's a mod that I forgot to install in this world, but all this does is just shows information about like the engine and stuff. Makes it look a little bit more high tech in here. Same thing with that. That's why that one looks off. But yeah, um, I do get a clock, so I know what time it is, and that clock is my time right now in real life. So that's cool. But once you come in, you're greeted with this. Press the big red button. That's the hatch. It's best to crouch, and then you click that button, and it turns on your interior lights. And now we're inside the tank hole. Well, really, it's the turret basket. There's no one that sits in the hole, and I'll explain why in a minute. We'll go to the commander's seat first. So the commander's seat, you'll see, he has only one page of controls. So we'll start with items 1, 2, and 3. So item 1, that's the commander's panoramic sight that sits on top. And then 2 or 3 are just a hinge lock and rotor lock that allow it to move. So with this, you get 360 view. I mean, you do have that. You do have the auxiliary turret blocking your back right. So that's a bit of a pain. But mainly, you're going to be looking forward. But yeah, Commander can survey targets. He can zoom. But another cool thing he has is thermals. So when you turn on thermals, look at that. You can see there's tanks that I placed out there in the distance. And the thermals are kind of broken because you can see through objects pretty well, which is interesting. But yeah. But yeah, you get to look down, so you can look right at the ground for enemy infantry maybe, or you can look up and maybe scan for aircrafts. But all in all, it's a pretty handy piece of kit. So we'll just lock it, hit F, go back into the, oh, hold on, give me 1 second. Gotta close my curtains because I got people from the street looking up over here. Don't want that. Oh. All right. Next thing he has to control, you'll see block item 4. So I'll go ahead and go into third person. Block item 4 allows you to shoot smoke. So you can create a pretty sizable smoke cloud that completely obscures your view to enemies, which is actually pretty cool. It's a pretty cool feature, and I actually make a lot of use of it when I battle other people. But yeah, we'll go to next. We'll look at item number. We'll look at items number. We'll look at items number 6 through 9. Nice. So if we hit 9, we are now controlling the main, or not the main gun, I'm sorry. Controlling the auxiliary, detach the locks, and turn the gun on. This sounds a little bit broken, but as you can see, it's a very devastating gun. I have damage turned off, so I can't damage anything. Oh. Yeah, I think I might have to reload my world in a bit, but yeah. This thing is a pretty neat cannon. Very good for anti-aircraft, as I can aim all the way up, which is the primary design. So it's anti-drone. Yeah, not much else to say about that. You do get your, your zooms. I don't know the range of this weapon, but yeah. But that's pretty much it for the commander station. As you can see, you're sitting in. It does look pretty cool when you have another person sitting in the tank with you. And this is the fighting compartment. I mean, it's actually pretty roomy for what it is. But we'll leave that. And we'll go over here to the pilot section. Real quick, these are the programmable blocks. I am running scripts. This is the... Ooh, This is the 0-turn or skid steering script found on the workshop, and this is the same guide, but it's the one for the turret and the gun stabilizing. I think it's called like point to click. Oh, and it actually gets really dark with the lights off in here. Ooh. Next, we're in the pilot seat. As you see, he has nothing in any of his toolbars. Nothing. And the reason for that is, when you hit 1, activates the remote control. The remote control sits inside the hole. That's how you drive the tank. Excuse me. Once you hit remote control, you are greeted with 2 menus. First menu is the driver menu. Second menu is the gunnery menu. We'll talk about the driver menu. I'll go into third person. And hit 4, that disengages the brakes. And now I can drive the tank around, which is pretty neat. Let me go ahead and hit 1 or 2 to disengage the lock on the turret. And I'll show you something really cool. This is the skid steering that I was talking about in that programmable block. It moves just like a real tank, which is really nice, and the tracks look pretty cool. But yeah, this thing does have a stabilized gun, which is a very nice feature to have on any tank. You also have control over smokes as well. If you hit number 3, I'm not going to press them because I already showed them. Plus the smoke is annoying when I don't need it. You got front and rear lights. So that's cool. And yeah, we'll go to gunnery menu and we'll actually move to service a couple of targets. So first things first, as you can see, menu number 4, that's how I can control the brakes while controlling the gun. And as you can see, the third person camera follows wherever the turret is looking, but not so much where the gun is looking. But we do have number 6, which also has thermal. This is just the fixed turret, turret camera, which is a pretty handy camera to have. And as you can see, gun is currently stabilizing. One thing I would like is a turret clock to put in here. I think that would be cool. That way I know where my turret is pointing always. I mean, I know where the front of my turret is pointing because I have that. But not only do I have the auxiliary turret camera, but I also have a dedicated turret camera. This one does not have thermal. So as you can see, we got a enemy right over there. So I'll go ahead and load a shell as I make my way over there. Oh, one thing to note. I mean, I know that tank is there, but if I didn't, that would be a pretty hard thing to notice. Just sitting underneath that shadow. But what is cool is I can go to auxiliary and I can scan, be like, oh snap, and there's a target right there. And if it was an enemy, I could lock onto him, but since it's a friendly, when I right click, it doesn't target. But like, oh snap, there's an enemy vehicle over there. Oh, right there you say? And I can service the target. Right through the turret, right through. So yeah, there's that. I'll showcase the stabilization here. As you can see, my gun is unaffected by the bumps. You can see that the hull itself is moving a lot, around a lot, but the turret itself, the gun, is staying fixed. So it makes this thing play really good. It feels like I'm playing Battlefield right now. That's how cool this tank is. Secondary weaponry, I do have, so turn off the main gun, hit number 3 to turn on the machine gun. I got a 50 cal, coaxial mountain. mounted. Just like that. Out of ammo, so it's going to reload. Let me turn that off. So you'll note that since my gunner cam is offset from the main gun, where I aim isn't where it hits. So if I say aim right here on that cheek, it's going to probably hit the wheels or the fender. It hits a little bit low to the right. At greater distances, the disparagement between the reticle and where the shot actually lands is larger. But that's where this comes in. You could turn on this laser and be like, oh, well, I'm painting the target, so I know that where that red dot is, that's where my shot is going. So if I put the red dot on, say, let's decapitate his commander's sight. Boom, commander's sight is... Where'd that shot go? It's not as good close range, I will say. There we go. We didn't hit nothing. Oh yeah, the laser is sitting below the gun itself. So at close range like this, it does. Man, I'm looking like a fool. Hold on, let me back up. The laser's really good at longer distances. I probably should have thought of that before trying to show you guys. But let me back up here. Getting some more distance. Oh no, there is an enemy vehicle spotted right there. Oh, since I'm far out, I got my trusty laser sight. If I put a laser dot on that hatch, the hatch, there it is, there it goes. The hatch gets shot. Oh, snap. Damage is turned off. Man, I am a absolute bum. I am a bum right now. But yeah, basically, paint that commander sight. Commander sight's dead. It's just flying off into the distance. See, I want to shoot his antenna. Antenna's been shot off. Now, if I turn the laser off and say I put my reticle on that antenna, hit it, it hits the ground past the antenna. That's because the sight is off-centered or offset from the main gun. Now, we'll say the enemies can see the laser sight. So the best way to use it is to, oh, enemy, laser sight, hit where you want, off, and then move. So boom, laser sight. Wow, that tank is really hidden in that grass. But yeah, laser sight, hit, off, then you move. The shooting on the move capabilities that this thing possesses is actually quite useful. So, if I'm on the move here, as you can see, steady as can be. Boom. Hit him. I will say having the ability to target would be pretty cool. But I don't have that added yet, so hatch is hit. I will say brakes aren't really existent on this vehicle. They're not the best. But I guess it behaves like a regular tank, I suppose. But that's about it for this bad boy. Let me go ahead and hit boom, boom. Fly up. That's the Panther 2A5. I would say it's... This is no boast, but I'm willing to bet, like, on the workshop, this is probably one of the most realistic... one of the most realistic, or as realistic as you can get in a video game. I have played other people's tanks in the past. There are a lot of good tanks out there. but I don't know. I feel like mine is good enough to be amongst those, is what I'm trying to say. I feel like my tank design is greatly improved over the years. So that's enough about the 2A5. This isn't a new design. It's a very, very old design. But I just want to show that the script that this thing uses, which is in there for the gun and turret, this is the vehicle I tested it on. So if I go like this, boom, and then, oh, did I freaking, yeah, I did. It doesn't just work on that tank. I did it on another tank too. So basically applied the same turret stabilization technology to one of my older designs. This one doesn't have skid steer, but I'm sure it would work. But yeah, it's pretty neat. Pretty neat indeed. It does look cool. I will show you the 2A4, which doesn't have the crew all in the turret. It has 2 crew in the turret and the driver in the hull, which is how I originally did my tanks. This one, both are in the turret, and there's only 2 people in the turret, if that makes sense. So you got a driver slash gunner, and then you got the commander slash auxiliary gunner, I guess. Here, you got the driver in the hull, sits in the back of the hull. You got your gunner, and then commander. This is in my urban camo, because on the city planet map, this camo works really, really good. But yeah, if we come up here, we'll just skip to it. It's a little bit different, so it has a different panoramic sight. And this one just has a mounted 50 cal, whereas that one has a better anti-aircraft gun. But if we come in here, it's not as flushed out. Stuff kind of looks like it's just placed haphazardly. Doesn't look like it's to form at all. There's no interior lights, but you can close the hatch. But you got your gunner, commander, but you can also control everything from the pilot seat. So the thing about this is, if I go to control the gun, the turret moves, but not, or my camera doesn't move with the turret, rather. This one still does have the skid steering ability, which is pretty neat. But it's just very different in terms of form. If we go to, where's the programmable block at? I think I have it turned off from the commander's seat. But yeah, that's an older design. But yeah, that's basically all I was going to show today. Here we have some older 2A3s in the same camo as my 2A5. And this camo is basically my take on multicam. It's just very, very neutral colors that are applicable anywhere. There's a 2A5 sitting inside this hangar bay. If we come over here, we got a Panther 2. Or my bad, Panther 1. Keep wanting to call it a Panther 2 because it looks like the modern day Panther 2 kind of. But it's a Panther 1. I don't remember. I think that's the 1A2 because it's got the 130. The 1A1 has the stock assault cannon. And it's a Panther 1A2 with an urban armor package meant for stopping rockets. All these buildings, the only building here I built is that one and then the walls. But all these other buildings are just buildings I pulled off the workshop to just flush this place out a little bit more. Here is a motor pool I got going. Here are some squad vehicles. This is my take on like a MRAP type vehicle. This is like a Mat V. It's pretty big. These are my take on a Humvee. All the doors are open because the truck is off. Here are some older tanks. Actually, I think that's a 2A5. Here we have a 1A3 with a little bit of, you know, plows for trees and ramming other tanks. It's mainly there for looks than anything. Here is the, ooh, excuse me. Here is my Mad Cat. Anti-air systems built on the Panther 1 chassis. I will be making an updated version pretty soon. But it's actually a very effective weapon. The idea behind having two banks like this is when it's aiming at aircraft in the air, you got your leading, one of the sides will be a leading volley and the other side will be a trailing volley. And so the idea is to aim directly at the enemy aircraft with the camera. So essentially the aircraft is in between the two volleys. And basically you just create a line of fire. It's semi-effective versus having just one volley. But just saturate the sky with tracers and you'll be fine. Here's a Puma. I will be updating this today. But it's built off of the Panther 1 chassis. And it's basically just a IFV. It's a fairly good design, in my opinion, compared to where I came from. This is the previous design with MLRS turrets, so it's artillery. This isn't like a standard design. I was just testing, or no, I think that's anti-air. No, that's artillery. But yeah, the 2 is basically the 1 just with more armor. Here is some SPGs that I've been working on. They're actually pretty effective if you let the AI use the gun. There's not really a way for the player to use the gun effectively, but the AI knows where the enemy is and will engage it properly. So they're pretty useful. This is my take on a Hemet. It's 8x8. It's got a shelter on the back, so if you come over here, fold out the ramp. This is a very, very old design. Now you can walk up in here, put whatever you want. Let's see here. We got some medevac Humvees. Where is this it? Yep. This is a pretty neat design in my opinion. This is a fire control vehicle. So it designates targets and it links them via antennas. It's got batteries in here, plus like a bunch of high-tech gear. It's also got a 360 panoramic, or a telescopic panoramic sight on the back. It extends into the air and you can look around. Let's see. If you go to the barracks, these are just civilian makes of my military vehicles. Pickup truck is my personal favorite. We got a patrol vehicle. It's also got lights and sirens. It's actually black and white on, or in my blueprints, but I all tanned it for this map. And that's about it. That, my friends, is about it. So I just wanted to showcase that a little bit. Showcase, the 2A5 primarily, and then show off some of the other designs I got floating around. But yeah, appreciate you guys watching, and have a good day.